Thank you to all of you for being here, being a part of it, lifting your voice, telling your story, and working to make change. Ruby, Rachel, Katie, incredible. Absolutely incredible. And to all of you, I know each of you have a story that in telling it will inspire others, will change lives, and will push research and development forward. I think we have 2 Alabamians here, do we? Potentially. Matthew? Awesome. Okay, look, when I was reading about you, your quote, live fully and never let diabetes define you. You are so much stronger than it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And is Meg here by chance? Oh, I heard you just got your back handspring. Amazing. How old are you? 9? That is incredible. I'm not sure that I could do one at 9. I mean, amazing. Thank you so much for being here, for lifting your voice, for making sure that all of those with T1D and Alabama are heard and seen and across the nation. You two inspire me and all others, and I really appreciate you being here. I want to thank the researchers. Dr. Rogers, you'll have done an incredible job. When you were in front of this committee back in 2023, we had a really good exchange, and you shared with me that Alabama has one of the highest rates of gestational diabetes in the country. We also went on to discuss the fact that when a woman does have gestational diabetes, that it increases the likelihood that she will ultimately have diabetes and that the infant will as well. My question to you is, what are we doing? How is NIDDK supporting research on how best to manage diabetes during pregnancy and to ensure that the health of mothers and children are at the forefront of this research?
Thank you, Senator Britt. As you or some may be aware, current practice in obstetrics and gynecology is to do an oral glucose tolerance test, usually in the 3rd trimester of pregnancy, to determine whether a woman has diabetes, gestational diabetes. And we know, as you just indicated, that having diabetes, gestational diabetes, puts that mother as well as the child that she's carrying at risk of subsequently developing diabetes in the future. Treatment at that level may be too late because the period of time of which dysglycemia or high levels of glucose have occurred may be present a month, 2 months, 3 months earlier. We started a study called Go Moms. Of course, everything in government has to have an acronym, and that's an acronym that stands for determining glucose levels in gestational diabetes. And we're putting on these continuous glucose monitors in the 1st trimester.
Okay.
To determine exactly when the dysglycemia. I'm pleased to report that the very last patient since I spoke with before you in 2023 has just delivered this month that child. And very similar to the TEDdy study, we hope to have the results of that analysis looking at these complex pictures that occur on the CGM within the next 6 months to a year. That will inform us when one potentially should be intervening, and then one can then determine whether that earlier intervention has a positive benefit, both in terms of the mother and with longer follow-up, the infant.
Thank you so much. And look, in my remaining minute, I was heartened to read the new potential cures for type 1 diabetes that were published in the New England Journal of Medicine a few weeks ago, and I'm sure everyone in here shares that enthusiasm. As a policymaker, I want to make sure that potential cures for T1D don't take us down the same road as insulin. So if you look back at insulin when it came to the market in 1923, but over 100 years later, it is still unaffordable for so many. And so how do we make sure that we balance creating an innovative place in research and development where people are rewarded for that, but not at the expense of being able to get these incredibly important drugs or treatment to people nationwide?
Sure. Well, NIH obviously doesn't have a particular role to play in pricing of insulin or other drugs for that matter, but our role is ultimately in developing cures. Of course, people with type 1 diabetes and a substantial number of people, even with type 2, require insulin to live. And our goal is really to focus on developing a cure so that insulin, their own cells are producing the insulin as the example. And we have developed a series of other drugs early on that have gone to industry that can stimulate the insulin production even in the remaining cells. That's where we stand.
Okay.
Our goal is to better understand and to develop treatments, preventions, and curative strategies.
Thank you. And Chair Collins, just last thing, I want you all to hear this from all of us. This is an issue. There are many issues that you see in the news that unfortunately divide us along party lines, but this is not one of them. And Democrat, Republican, we all stand united in making sure that we have the research and the treatment and the availability of these things for each and every one of you. And if you will, as a parent myself, I have a 15 and a 16-year-old. I have a dear friend who has more than one child with T1D, and watching what all she does to make sure that her child is successful and that they have what they need and that they're ready. It's a constant process. And so will all of you, incredible delegates, join me in giving a huge round of applause to your parents who work day and night and make sure that